MPP Billy Pang from Markham Unionville to Tony Pontis Public School. We are honored to have you join us today as staff across the board prepare for a year of innovation and student leadership, marked by our commitment to delivering the best education students need to become confident and successful global citizens. Together, we will make this year one of student well-being, engagement, achievement, and success for all. I would now like to welcome to the podium the Honorable Sylvia Jones, Minister of Health and MPP for Dufferin-Caledon.
Thank you so much. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome, colleague and friend, Minister Dunlop, to Tony Pontis School here in Caledon. This school is a bit unusual, unique, you might say, because it is a balanced school year, which is why Minister Dunlop had the opportunity to read to the kindergarten students earlier today. I just want to say that I am incredibly proud of the parents, the staff, everyone who has made the balanced school year work in Tony Pontis, and to say we love to highlight and celebrate success. And with that, I would like to welcome and ask you to welcome Minister Jill Dunlop to the podium. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Deputy Premier for the kind introduction. It's an honor for me to be here for my first event as Ontario's new Minister of Education. And I'm so excited about this new opportunity, including the chance to get out and meet students and teachers. While a lot of people said, well, it's August, you'll obviously have to wait, we had an aha moment with Tony Pontis Public School and their balanced school year. Students here start the school year early and balance it out with more breaks throughout the year. So it was the perfect school to come to in August. I want to thank the principal, Mahan Matthews, the entire staff of Tony Pontis Public School, and members of the school board for welcoming us here today. As I get into this new role and back into schools and daycares, I think about my 3 daughters and helping to navigate their time from kindergarten to grade 12. I remember reading to them before they even started school. We, like everyone else, loved Robert Munsch books. I'm reminded of helping them prepare for EQAO and trying to tell them not to stress about their exams too much in high school. And I'm thinking about my time as a parent volunteer, helping fundraise for the school. I was the mom in charge of the popcorn machine, a job I took seriously, picking the flavors and making sure that we never ran out of fresh supply. So parents, I understand what you're feeling right now. That mix of jitters and excitement that the first day of school brings. As a new Minister of Education, I'm committed to working with our educators, parents, students, and others to make sure that this school year is a success. That's why, as we prepare for the return to school, I'm excited to talk about what's changing in classrooms this fall to remove distractions in the classroom and keep kids safe in school. To keep kids focused on learning in classrooms, not on cell notifications, we're banning cell phones in classrooms. For students in kindergarten to grade 6, we are banning cell phones for the full instructional day. Students in grade 7 and up will be required to turn off their mobile devices or set them to silent mode and keep them out of view when they're in the classroom. Of course, students who need their mobile device for special education needs or for monitoring a medical condition will still be able to use them. To ensure parents and students know the rules, this week we've started online and print advertisements across Ontario. We're also taking action to protect young people's health. That's why Ontario is explicitly banning vape devices from schools and school-related settings, along with nicotine and tobacco products. To support the implementation of these new rules, we're investing $47.5 million in supports for students at risk of addictive behaviors, in resources for parents, and in funding for school boards to install vape detectors or other security updates. In addition to these important changes to reduce distractions, it's vital that students continue to build the skills and knowledge that prepare them for the jobs of tomorrow. Starting this school year, we've updated the grade 9 and 10 technological education curriculum, Students will take one of these courses to meet their graduation requirements. Students will explore and apply engineering and technological concepts, and this will open up STEM pathways for students with learning designed to promote critical thinking and problem solving. The knowledge from tech ed can also translate into a career in the skilled trades, a very fulfilling option for many students. We've also updated our grades 9 and 10 business curriculum. These optional experiential classes will help teens develop an entrepreneurial mindset and learn the importance of taking initiative, adapting to change, and finding creative solutions to business issues. We've also updated the mandatory grade 10 career studies course to include additional mandatory learning on mental health literacy. This will help young people recognize when they're struggling and feeling overwhelmed and teach them where and when they can find help locally. These changes will help set students up for success, both during the next year and in the years to come. As the summer draws to a close and school comes back for most students next week, I know it can be bittersweet for some, but I'm optimistic that this school year is going to be an amazing one. As Ontario's Education Minister, I want to wish every teacher, student, parent, custodian, support staff, bus driver, ECE, crossing guard, EA, principal, school trustee, admin assistant, cafeteria worker, and every education partner a fantastic year. It truly takes a village. I look forward to hearing from you over the next year and learning how we can continue to make Ontario schools some of the best in the world. Thank you.
For the media who are here, we are now opening the floor to questions. Please introduce your name as well as the media outlet that you represent. The opportunity for one question and just to keep our time afloat, one follow-up.
Ali Chiasson with CBC News. When it comes to the vaping ban and the cell phone ban, what will enforcement look like? I understand that'll probably come down to the teachers, so how will you empower them to do that?
Yes, absolutely. Enforcement is going to be a big issue, and we want to ensure that, I want teachers to know this is a new initiative. This is a culture change that's happening in our classrooms. I want teachers, principals to know that you have our back. In grades kindergarten to grade 6, cell phones will not be used in the classroom at all. They'll be turned off and left out of view. Grade 7 to grade 12, cell phones can be used during break time, but during instruction time, specifically at the teacher's request, because they can still be used for instructional purposes if the teacher requires that. But if the teacher is asking cell phones to be put away or turned off, if students do not abide by those rules, they'll be asked to put the cell phone in a safe space in the classroom. And if students do not follow that, they'll be asked to go to the principal's office. There are discipline measures in place that can be taken, and we will support the principals in those measures. But I was an educator as well. That's in the college area, but I saw firsthand the distraction that cell phones can cause in the classroom. Distraction not just amongst the student themselves with their phone, but amongst their peers, and also distracting for teachers who are there to teach. So we're removing distractions to ensure that there's student success, that students can focus on what is being taught in the classroom.
Just a follow-up about the enforcement, like in the classroom, whether teachers are able to confiscate the phones or sending them down to the principal's office. Is that going to be up to like each school or school board? Will they come up with their own enforcement sort of rules and how they'll deal with it?
Well, there is discipline policies in place, and we will support educators and principals in the actions that they take. So the minimum standards have been set with, I said K to grade 6 and grade 7 to grade 12. But, we want to ensure that, and I've heard from teachers, I've heard from parents in the past couple of weeks of coming into this role, how distracting cell phones can be. And I know as adults, we see it firsthand in the workplace, in the boardrooms. Cell phones are distracting. When students are looking at social media and they're texting each other, they're not paying attention to what's being taught in class.
Hi, Minister. Siobhan Morris, CTV News. In the same vein, just on the enforcement end of things, what we have heard from teachers is that they're reluctant to take that step to confiscate a phone because they feel like they're setting themselves up for harder fights than just having the distraction. So you talk about empowering teachers. What does that practically look like? Is it the ministry backing them up if they should get into a problem with the child, with the parent?
Yes, as I mentioned, this is a culture change in the classroom. This is the first time that this is being enforced, whether it's with the teacher in the classroom asking the cell phone to be placed in a safe space, or the student, having to take the next step and go to the principal's office. But, we need to ensure that, we're the adults here. We recognize that it's a distraction, whether it's in the classroom, in the boardroom. Cell phones can be distracting. Students are in the classroom to learn, and teachers, deserve that respect of the students to be there listening and learning, but also recognizing that they are a great educational resource in the classroom when that time is called for by the teacher.
And going into this school year, I will skip over your immediate predecessor because he wasn't in the role very long. I know that people in the education sector had been hoping for something of a sea change, the opportunity for a new relationship with the minister. What do you see as the greatest challenge moving forward? And are you starting those conversations with, I'm thinking of union leadership in particular here?
No, absolutely. I reached out to union leaders the first weekend to introduce myself, pass on my cell phone number to, show that I was open to a very open relationship, open door policy. I look forward to working with the union leaders and to working with all of our stakeholders in the education sector. But this is an exciting opportunity. I think coming into this role, I'm different than the past ministers. I'm a mom, a woman, an educator. So I bring that to the table, and I look forward to working with all of our education stakeholders.
Sorry, I think last school year, the stress was around getting contracts finished.
Yes.
That is resolved. What do you see as the greatest challenge moving forward for you in the sort of immediate term for this school year?
Yeah, well, I think we're talking now about the cell phone ban and the vaping ban, which is new to schools, and we'll be working through that and working closely with our education partners. I've talked to and I recognize the shortage of teachers, not only here in Ontario, but across Canada, and recognize the work that this government has already done to increase the number of educators in the classroom. In fact, since 2018, we've increased that number by 9,000 educators, and going into the school year alone, 24-25, we've increased it by 900. So we're continuing to do the work, but I recognize that that's an issue and something that I'm looking to work with all of our leaders in this field on.
Hi there, James Davidson with Global News. How should teachers deal with the students who have devices like smart watches that are a little bit more discreet and would not disrupt the learning environment as much as a phone?
Oh, that's a great question, and something obviously we have considered. And part of me being here today is also talking to parents to have these conversations around the table, that this is a new rule that's in place. There are consequences to this, but we will continue to roll this out and work closely with our educators to ensure that they're supported as this new ban comes into place.
Thank you very much. If there's no other questions from the media, this concludes our event.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for having us here.